that was a fun, unexpected episode with Ruben.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did too. Unexpected because if it were just a normal Monday recording, and it was Tennessee and Green Bay playing, which I don't even know if those two teams play each other, but if they do, all I'm saying is we wouldn't have had Ruben on. But because of and if the Bills blew them out, or even if they lost, we probably wouldn't have had Ruben on. But because of the play at the end of the game and what his involvement would have been in that play at the end of the game when he was playing, we had so many questions about it, because as being natural athletes, we're athletes, we are naturally interested in other sports. We talked about it. We watched the game.
Having the knowledge. Not having the knowledge. We're just fans of the football. We're fans of the Bills. You know what? There's going to be huge discussions on this, okay? There's going to be a debate on this. Did they do the right thing? Should they have went for it on the 1 goal line to try and win the game, or do you kick the field goal? And Ruben, his answer was fascinating.
Well, like that is a tease on purpose.
Was it surprising?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I was a little bit surprised. On what he thought about when they went for it, and I was also very blown away by the detailed breakdown of what went wrong at the goal line when the ball was snapped. To me, like that stuff, when I hear
how many situations has he been in, exactly what was performed by the Bills the other night.
Well, you're a 9-time Pro Bowler, and you're probably seen those situations before. And it doesn't have to be on the goal line, right? Like 4th and 1 anywhere, quarterback sneak, it's probably the same setup, right? So to hear him talk about it and break it down, it was pretty fascinating for me. And what a perfect guy. It's awesome that we had that relationship with him too, where we can just have such a natural conversation with him and, mix in some real football talk too. So I was interested. I hope everybody else is too.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoy. Special little football episode for everybody with After the Whistle. So where are you? Tell us where you are.
So I'm at my girlfriend's place in France. She's been living in south of France for over 10 years or more. And she speaks fluent French and knows the area inside and out, knows all the great restaurants and places to go to vacation. So this is her stomping grounds. And ever since I met her, she's been bringing me over, exposing me to the area, the scene, the people. These Europeans are pretty nasty. They're not like our fun-loving Canadians in North America. North America is way better. The Europeans give you a look like people on the street in Chicago give you a look. They're going to eye you up and down until you're like, am I supposed to fight this person? Wait a minute, it's a little old lady and she's staring at me like I'm doing something wrong. But they're not that openly friendly here. You know what I mean? You really need to speak French for them to open that door, not unless, there's a few Europeans that wish they would be in New York or something like that, and they hear a New York accent, they get excited, like some places. But overall, walking the streets, no pleasantries, none whatsoever. It's more, they will eye hustle you. And I'm like, I'm not used to my eyes being hustled so much. I'm usually, if I stare at someone for a certain period of time, just nod your head, acknowledge, give me a wave, a bonjour, or au revoir, something like that, just a nicety. Here, no, they will eye you until you pass them and turn around and look at you and never even speak.
So at what point in time right now, Ruben, are you just going to throw the death stare and lock on to a little old lady and you death stare this lady down until she She has to turn. She has to turn her head because it's
Yeah.
so far past the uncomfortable point.
Way past it.
Let's go.
All right, so I've been here for some weeks now, and this is the week when it's boiled over for me because I kept trying to, all right, well, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to kind of look away. I'm going to see if they're still looking. I'm going to throw a bonjour out there somewhere, you know.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. Hey, Riv, you can't be saying bonjour.
Bonjour, no. with the American accent. Bonjour, no.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
You know what, though? I can tell you this.
I'm not going to like you for that.
I played in Montreal for a long time.
Yeah.
And believe me, they love their culture. They love their language.
Yes.
They want to keep that upbringing.
Yes.
And I respect that. But I'm going to tell you this. The people in Montreal, the people that I had met over all those years in Quebec and Montreal, they respect you if you try. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
They respect you if you try and try and at least speak the language a little bit. They will have a smile on their face and they love it. They just want you to give an effort. So, you know,
I found those pockets though, Greggy. I found a few pockets of people, you know, if they see me, if I speak, then all of a sudden they'll start speaking English because they can tell by my accent. Obviously, I'm mispronouncing the words, and that's a huge faux pas in the French. Oh my God! Do not speak bad French. They want to punch you.
Does anyone know? Does anyone know that you played in the NFL?
Very few people, and I get a decent, really good reception when it happens. Is this live? I mean,
no.
Is this kid friendly?
Doesn't have to be.
All right, so I go to this place in Saint-Tropez, 5-on-5. You guys could probably say 55 better than I can in French. All right, so we go to this place. It's all hoity-toity. It's high-end. You know, all the yacht people and everything go to it. So after dinner, or after lunch, it's next to the beach in Saint-Tropez. After dinner, we go over towards the bar. My girlfriend's having some wine, and I'm smoking a cigar. And I'm like, hey, this is really cool beach area. I'm going to fire up a joint.
Is weed legal over there?
No. So I fire up this joint, right? The whole place smells the holy hell of a joint smell blowing across the whole restaurant. The restaurant's packed. Everyone's staring. Everybody's European and everything. Slowly, a group of people make a circle around us. My girlfriend's totally paranoid. She's like, oh, my God, they're coming to arrest us. Put your joint out. Enough. It was the furthest thing from the truth. We had a magician come over and befriend us. Every waiter in the building. The next day we showed up after that day, which we thought I was about to be thrown in jail. Everyone in the building is telling me the business over there. Oh, Samuel Jackson comes here. No one's as cool as you. No one's fired up a joint in here.
Oh my!
I was like, I thought it was.
What's the cereal, Ruben? Just follow your nose. Toucan Sam. What is that? Was that Fruit Loops?
Totally.
It was so funny.
My girlfriend was so paranoid, and she's like, "No one's ever."
That'll happen.
Yeah, you know. Hey, my thought process was like, "This is a vacation spot. You know, this is the beach life. I'm sure." This isn't the first time they have. But, you know, it can be a little pretentious in some of these high-end yacht club type places. You know, they can't.
Yachty club, yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's not our normal crowd, you know, but they brought me around, they exposed me to it, so I checked it out.
So let me ask you something. Can you, and I don't know the answer to this. Do they have NFL football on in France?
The ticket, yeah, they loved it. They loved that ticket. The NFL is killing it internationally with streaming. Yeah, obviously, time difference is a big deal, but definitely there's lots of fans. When the guys at the restaurant found out that I was a former player, they just went on and they told me about all sports. Oh, I'm a fan of the Chicago Bulls. I said, no, Chicago Bears. It's like, I like them too. So they are sports fans. And some of the places that I've gone, obviously other Americans have shown up there. So there is a bit of, oh, wow, you play a professional sports. They respect that. So there are football fans, basketball fans, hockey fans.
Most popular sport over there in France, would it be soccer?
Hands down.
Yeah.
Soccer's number one. I'm staying near Monaco. Monaco has a team that's considered solid. I go to some of the fine dining establishments and you see the soccer guys pull in and people are gaga all over them. Also, run into a lot of Formula One and race car drivers.
Have you caught any Formula One over there? Because we've just gotten in. This is the first full season of Formula One that I've ever watched in terms of races. I've watched all the Netflix stuff, but I'm obsessed, and I watch every race, and there's one coming up this weekend. But I was going to ask you, when you said you're near Monaco and that, if you've seen how big Formula One is over there when Craig asked about soccer.
Totally huge. It's as big as, I think in this location, I think it's as big as soccer because, the big Monaco race happens here.
Yeah.
So, there's shops all over town that have, Formula One stuff that you can buy in there and stuff like that. But hands down, soccer, the French team plays, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You think the whole world is watching France if France is playing soccer or a French-affiliated soccer team. So for me, I enjoy it. I really enjoy it because, guys, we're all, even though we're pro athletes, we all enjoy competition, So it could be. The one thing I won't watch.
Maybe not soccer so much, Ruben.
I don't watch a lot, but I participate because everyone gets into it.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me with cricket. I am not watching that. Forget it. I'm not watching cricket. No disrespect to cricket fans out there. Just not me. Can't do it.
Yeah, but you know what? Sorry to all the cricket fans listening.
You're one fan.
Hey, I'm sure they're all logging off now. Ruben said he hates cricket. I'm fucking out of here. I'm out of here.
I'm supposed to boost the ratings, not take it down.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah.
But we love sports, and there's a lot of competitive stuff. I'm a motorcycle fan. The top super bike stuff comes around. They're into that here. But like we were saying, soccer's number one.
So did you get a chance to watch the Bills' last game?
Yes, I did. I watched it. I was up at 4 a.m. over here in Vive la France, watching the Bills. I love that game. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no moral victories in sports, but what we saw last night, that Monday night game, it was a heavyweight battle. Those are two good teams, not bad teams, because the Titans defense got after the Bills. They got busy with the Bills. They were giving the Bills fits. They had done more to that offensive line. They penetrated that offensive line of the Buffalo Bills more than they had seen since the Steelers early in the year. There was some good defensive line play over there. Then on the other side of the ball, oh my God, the running back, Derrick Henry for the Titans is a monster. He is a beast. I mean, danger on cleats, man. You do not want to tackle that big guy.
So what would be the equivalent of Derrick Henry when you played? Who was that guy?
Oh, I would say that actually you could say Eddie George or Corey Dillon. All right. And I would go even further back as my childhood idol. One of the guys who I love as a running back was Earl Campbell, who played for the then Houston Oilers, who are now the Tennessee, Titans. So there have been other players similar in size and stature to him. We had one in particular for the Buffalo Bills, Antoine Smith. I mean, Antoine Smith was close to 245, or maybe some days he might have been more. But I'm telling you, you didn't want to tackle him. And in the open space, he was breakaway fast. And a guy that big that can run that fast, that's pain. That's pain for anyone that tried to. I tore my pec by sticking my arm out, trying to slow down a large, pro player. In high school, I was just so big and strong. I stick my arm around, wrap it around a guy, drag him to the ground. A guy like Derrick Henry, Antoine Smith, Eddie George, Corey Dillon, you did not just stick your arm off. They will rip it off. And I have the proof. I have a torn pec to prove that those guys will rip your muscle. Don't matter how big you are.
It seems like they have a different, like when you watch Derrick Henry run, it seems like he's angry all the time. It's not, he's not running to get like 2-3 yards. He's running. He wants to hit somebody. He wants to rip an arm off and get 10, 15 yards on every single carry, or that's what I find when you watch him. It's just, it's incredible to watch. He's just so big and powerful. And
Craig, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. He's a type of runner that takes the run to the defenders. I mean, if you watch the game, you would totally have to admire. If it was Micah Hyde, I think it was one of Derrick's long runs. He had broke through the line. Only person left is the poor safety standing there, and he's got to take that. And you got to think about this. Think about momentum and all of these things. Our defender, his feet are stopped, kind of stagnant, and here comes this train. There's Derrick down the track, and he's got to figure out a way to stop him, because if he doesn't stop him, he's in the end zone. He's gone. You can't. And luckily and thankfully, Hyde puts enough body on him to make a detour so the rest of the team could pile on him and bring him down. But you go ask those guys today, like,
I don't think Micah Hyde stopped him. I think he got the wicked forearm shimmy to the face.
Yeah.
That's what slowed down Derrick Henry for the other guys to dive on him.
Yeah, if he didn't have to stick his arm out, he would have kept going.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the play at the end. I mean, take us all the way down to that play at the end that I think just made the whole game. Make it or not, it made the whole game, whether the Bills make that
It
play.
Totally made the game. It made the game an instant classic. Thankfully, McDermott went for it. He didn't go safe and say, let me kick a field goal and then try to get back in. No, let's go win. And I love what he said. I think it's today after the game. He was like, my team was playing so hard, I had to give them every chance. So, of course, we went for it on fourth down. Of course, we tried to use our best. When it's on the line, who do you want to have the ball in their hands? Josh Allen. All right?
Yeah.
So they did all
so
of it.
You're okay with the decision to go for it?
Oh, 100%. He checked all of the boxes. This is what people have to understand about this game. that was two really good teams. A lot of Buffalo people don't want to think of Tennessee as a good team because they had a loss or two prior to running into Buffalo. Tennessee's a great team, and they're going to be a formidable team for anyone that comes to Tennessee or whoever plays them. They're going to be tough. So I don't say moral victory, but then you kind of can say, hey, we played a good team. There's a good team. We can go back to the drawing board, learn for something. And guys, we're only an inch or two away from winning this thing. You know what I mean? We can get into it. We can win these games if we play like they play. If they play like they played Monday, they can win.
So let me ask you this: You're an offensive lineman. I want to know what went wrong on the play.
Dawkins got blew up. Our tackle didn't get a good piece of the penetrating DN. That he's a good DN. That's what I'm saying. These D linemen that we were facing were good. They weren't chumps. I mean, they weren't the sisters of the poor. These guys are real. Think about them. They practice against Derrick Henry. Okay? We're catching trouble with them, and we only see them once a year. They practice against that guy every day, so they conditioned to some of that physicality that now the Bills have to turn it on like, I got it. I can do it. So what went wrong on that play in particular? The tackle, which, it was kind of weird that the guard didn't give him a little bit more wide butt to kind of slow that penetrating D-tackle, D-end that was pinching in that actually got to stop Josh, because had that guy not gotten that much penetration or pushed Dawkins back in a way, he would have been able to squeak forward. Josh would have squeaked forward and got that first down, but it didn't happen that way. It happens that way sometimes, and it's not a thing to say, oh, Dawkins can't do it. No, the guy had an angle on him. He had an advantage on him. He was inside leveraged on him, and it was going to be that is one of the hardest blocks for offensive line to make, to get in front of a guy that's already in front of you. He had the advantage. So Dawkins has to make a huge step and stay powerful and not get driven back because of his angle. The defender's momentum was easily able to tip the Dawkins over. That's all it is. Now,
I think on that play too, it looked like Josh Allen slipped. He tried to get in there. His foot slipped. When you don't have those power in the legs, you're not going anywhere. And it looked like he wanted to drive himself forward.
Yeah, well, he took a little leap. Hey, did you see? He kind of jumped like about 6 inches to try to get like a bull charge, kind of a.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Sometimes you can miss foot. That for the quarterback, sometimes they might step on a lineman because it's real tight or something, and it might slip a little bit, but it still was more of the penetration on that DN that really faulted it. Because sometimes in these quarterback sneaks, I've seen Drew Bledsoe do it. He slips and still makes it. As long as you got enough drive up front and no penetration and maybe just stalemates across the board, then the running back or the quarterback, whoever's up there tight, can, spin his wheels a little bit and then find a gap and get in there.
What quarterback does Josh Allen remind you of?
Old school guy?
Anybody. Is there anybody, or is he kind of his own little
I think he's making his
little's
name.
Not the right choice.
I think he's making his own lane. He's creating his own lane. I would say, Randall Cunningham, was athletic, running, can throw, all of those things. Josh has that ability. He definitely can run. He's the Bills' leading rusher. So, of course,
you need to do better than that for me. You need to do better than that. Who else
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Not Warren Moon. Warren Moon did more passing. I don't want to say Steve Young because physically, size-wise, Josh is bigger, and those guys did a lot more timing, precise patterns. Josh is kind of rolls out. He can help extend plays, whereas Steve Young and those guys, if he extended the play, he was just, really going to run it most of the time, and he could get away from guys because he had that elusive. He was a smaller guy. Josh is a big guy. Josh is as big as Ben Roethlisberger, right? But with wheels. Ben has 0 wheels. Ben can't run to the lunchroom. They got to wheel him to the lunchroom. But Josh can run, and he can run over people. He can jump over people. I mean, all of those great things. So I really believe he has his own lane. Not unless I know that somebody's going to come to me after I hang up with you guys. But right now, I see him as doing his own thing. I don't see him as a Lamar Jackson or, I don't see him as that. I think he's just that balanced quarterback that can run, can throw the dime deep down the field. And, I hadn't played with many quarterbacks that can do that.
Well, I can tell you this, Ruben. I'm in 4 fantasy football leagues, so I'm damn near like a professional, okay?
You are.
And there was a lot of discussion, after the call for McDermott to go for it last night.
Right.
They don't get it. And now this is where all the chirpers are going to give their crap. Oh, they should have done this. I'm going to tell you this. I was extremely surprised, and I'm not I can deem myself not necessarily a football guy, but understand the game enough to enjoy it. But what I did understand last night was every single one of these diehards, every single one of them are saying, I love Josh Allen. I absolutely love the play call. You had to go for it. And it was unfortunate, but they.
Yeah.
Oh, his internet.
But look.
Come on, Rick.
I'm going to follow up. I'm going to follow up what he's
Look at
saying.
the freeze on him.
That's it. It's pretty cool. But what he's saying
is. You froze on us there, dipshit. You froze up on us.
But.
Is he frozen again?
All right.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Did I freeze up?
Yeah, you did.
Don't worry about it.
All right. You're all right, though.
This is your professionalism, Andrew, has to take over. You knew when you were doing radio, there's no such thing as dead air.
Well, that's the great thing about being not being live anymore is that you can edit that out.
Cut it right out.
Yeah, you can cut it out. But you Craig, you're right on something. You're right. Most times you go for a 4th down, they'll complain about who handled the ball, when it happened. Oh, complaints. But you're not hearing that about this team.
No.
Or this game, because everyone watching it, you really watching it, this was a great game. I mean, this was an epic battle of 2 good teams. I mean, the Bills coming in with the hot hand was probably presumed to be the team to win. But if you analyze that team coached by Mike Vrabel, I've known Mike Vrabel. He and I played each other in college. He went to Ohio State. I played at Pitt. And, it's great to see like a former player ascend to being a coach. And not
doesn't happen often in the NFL, does it? Where former players
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. They do not want to let that happen too much. That's why I hate the Tennessee Titans. Plus, there's some old animosity there. That aside, I respect Mike, and all the coaches in the NFL respect Mike, because Mike is really doing an amazing job down there in Tennessee. And they've been dangerous to the Bills for every year that Mike's been there. He's been dangerous. So that's why people just know that was a great game. That was a great game. As good as we were at, the Bills are as a team, they played another good team. And in the NFL, and like you guys know in hockey, any night, the best team can lose.
Yep.
You can lose. I mean, you can lose. There's rarely a season where a team goes winless. They're going to beat someone. And trust me, if you're 0-11 and you get to game 12 and you beat someone, trust me, the team you beat is pretty good. You know what I mean? So this was an epic battle. I enjoy it. I'm going to be watching it on Rewind because I want to look at some more of the details, the nuanced stuff that us pros like to, go up to the young guys and be like, hey, Dawkins, should have got down a little lower. Your guard should have helped you a little bit before he went down there. You know what I mean? I want to be able to say that type of stuff for him and be informative so that I watch the replay, but just watching on the surface, McDermott definitely made the right call. The right play was called. That was the right play to call. Unfortunately, they didn't get it, but the good thing is this is only week 5 or week the 5th game of the season, right? Or the 6th game of the season.
Game, yep.
Yeah. And they got 10 more. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the old days. They have 11 more to go.
That's right.
So hopefully, if that comes up 11 more times, we're going to get it. Because we have the experience, and if you've done it against some of the best, and that deep line and that defense over in Tennessee is pretty formidable.
Couple more questions for your time because I know it's late over where you are, big boy. I know it's bedtime.
You think that's going to stop us?
No. I in fact, I thoroughly enjoyed my. I think it was, I don't know what time it was for you there, maybe 5 or 6 a.m. You were calling me from the bathroom.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. What's the time change? 6 hours?
6 hours.
So I think it was 10 o'clock here. So it was 4 in the morning there. You're like, I can't sleep. I'm in the south of France. And you're calling me from the can. Damn it. I can't remember what. Oh, you want to tell us what that beef was with Tennessee? Did a little blood, but you don't have to get into it if you don't want to.
It's the Music City Miracle.
Oh,
it's the throwback.
Okay.
I don't believe it was a throwback. I really don't. I really believe it was a legal pass. All right, technical. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. I'll never get over it. And listen, I don't care if they tell me, Ruben, I've been going to my therapist. My therapist is like, let it go, and I'm like, no, I'm not letting it go. You can forget it. You know what I mean? I put too much energy.
I'm going to a new therapist. I'm going to a new therapist. You're fired. Step into my office.
Well, they had to talk me down because I really wanted to do bad things to Tennessee Titan people. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm friends with Eddie George. He's a nice guy. You know what I mean? I used to know Steve McNair before he was gone, but Javon Curse, he and I, every time we see each other, we give each other a hug. But if I see that Titans logo, I'm gonna lose it. I lose it. I can't help it. All right, I'm not getting over it. Thank you.
Last question I'll ask you, Riv. I don't know if you wanted to ask something there, but I you've tried for years, and it just came up, but you've tried for years to explain this injury to me, and I just can't. You come up with a tougher name? Football players always claim they're the toughest. Hockey players say we're the toughest, but you can't just walk around saying he's ineligible today because he has turf toe.
Oh no. Now you're picking
like
on
turf
me.
toe.
You guys are certainly tough, Ruben. What do you have?
Hey, Craig.
You do not know. You do not know the pain of a toe.
What are you playing with tonight, Rivs? Oh, I got a separated shoulder. What about you, Ruben? Oh, I have turf toe.
I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you. that doggone toe, you think it's nothing. Oh my God, it's the most painful thing. It ended Deion Sanders' career. One of the greatest to ever play the game. Actually, if you look on his Instagram now, he's posting signs of him having this thing pinned up in surgery years after the fact.
Wow.
Andrew, you're going to get it when I see you now, because now you're starting to sound like my buddy Hayes. Because they would always tease me in college when I was telling them how my toe was.
I think every married guy has this too. It's called ring finger.
No, it's my toe. You can't pick on my toe, man. That thing hurts. Kick your toe against the bed at night and see what happens.
So tell me, what is it? What is it? Tell me, what is turf toe?
It's some type of sprain, Andrew, with the ligament and joint down there, and then it gets all inflamed, and you can't put any pressure on it. You can't push off. You can't. You basically are putting your foot down like it's a post. There's no flexing those toes to, bend and push off. You can forget about it. Your foot is not.
Why can't you just freeze the toe?
Actually, I did that several years in college, and all right, so you guys had to do maybe shoot up with some type of Novocaine or something like that.
What did they shoot you up with? Novocaine?
Well, they put it.
Sorry,
in my bag.
I couldn't help it. Bad jokes, all right.
I know. Listen. You're not the first one. My whole team used to poke fun at me because I had to get my toe shot up before each game in college. I'm in college, and they have to take me in a room and shoot me up. And I'm gonna tell you, I'd rather them shoot my shoulder, my knee, my penis than my toe. I'm telling you, guys, it is the most painful freaking thing. Listen, the tough part is when they insert it, they always have to get it inside the joint, right? So that means they have to pull the toe so it separates enough so they can get it in between the bone, right? But here's the problem. They don't always get it on the first try. It's like 3 or 4 tries, and they'll go in and they'll hit the bone and hit the bone. And that's so
you almost think they're doing painful. It on purpose, eh?
I think sometimes they were because they were pissed at me. I really did. I would be cursing them because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, like, hurry the fuck up, hurry. and they're just bouncing around. I think we got it. Nope, let me try it again. 10 times later, my toe finally gets the Novocaine in it. It dies. And like you said, Craig, once that happens, I could go play like no problem. It doesn't exist until Tuesday. And then the next day I can't walk.
Well, there it is. The explanation of turf toe. That's a wrap on another episode of After the Whistle. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, After the Whistle, and at Craig Rivet 52, at the Instigator 76. And you can find us, as you already know, on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and anywhere else where you can get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to spread the word.